Good evening and happy Friday. Hey everyone, I'm Darrell Winninger, the meteorologist at Central Oregon Daily News. And across the high desert, we've had a whole lot of sunshine, but also a dip in temperature. So just compared to yesterday, we are running much cooler. We're going to talk about that as well as some of the smoke in the air today from a couple of prescribed burns and several more changes that are on the way through the rest of this week. We're going to talk weekend, I should say, and next week. We're going to talk about all that and more here through the next several minutes. Yeah, that's right. It is time for a deep dive into your most reliable forecast for Central Oregon, and we're starting with what you see right here. Today, sunshine, just some light clouds, but we can see in several of these cameras that there is quite a bit of smoke out there, and that smoke is from some prescribed burns. So we're going to take a tour through some of these cameras from the Oregon Hazards Lab as well as a few others and really focus in on what's been happening across Central Oregon, starting with what you see right here and right now. Now, there are two of these cameras that are pointed towards some of these prescribed burns. The rest of them you can't really see too much, just the gorgeous view. So there is a prescribed burn about 11 miles south of Bend, and that one is actually comprised of three different prescribed burns. It's the Yoda, it's something to do with Yoda. Anyways, when you add all three of them together, the Yoda block, that's what it is. When you add all three of them together, it's going to be about 300 acres is what they're aiming for. And that's why you see all of that smoke in the south side of Bend getting all the way down through Lapine. You can actually see it a little clearly from the Pine Mountain camera from the Oregon Hazards Lab. Outside of that, though, we just have the gorgeous conditions. There's one more that we're tracking the smoke plume from. If you look at the top left camera, that is Grizzly Mountain, looking across Central Oregon, and you can actually see you see Mount Washington in the back, and just shy of that you actually see a little bit of a smoke plume. That one is from 3 miles northwest of Sisters, only expected to be about 100 acres. That's what they're shooting for, but a couple of other cameras just show a lot of that smoke. There is one more I want to look at real quickly, and that is from Bachelor overlooking Tumalo Mountain and Bend. If you look to the right side of this camera, you can see some of that haze, some of that smoke from the prescribed burn that's just to the south of Bend, but you can't really make out the smoke plume. So let's get over to air quality conditions. Where this specific graphic, you're looking at two different networks. First, the DEQ has a network of air quality monitoring stations, and they're focused on the hourly average. And that hourly average has been good to moderate through most of the day, with a bullseye right over Sun River where it's unhealthy for sensitive groups. Also, you can see those little flames on the map. Those are where we have some of the prescribed burns. There was one yesterday just south of Lake Billy Chinook, another one that I was talking about. You saw it from the Grizzly camera, the one just northwest of Sisters, and the one just to the east of Lava Butte. That is the one that's 11 miles south of Bend, and that's the one that's actually impacting our air quality the most. So when we take also you do see here the East Base Labs air quality sensors, and those ones are showing good for most of the Central Oregon. One of them near Lapine is showing, it's closer to Three Rivers, but either way, that's showing unhealthy for sensitive groups, pretty much lining up with the DEQ one. But there's a difference between hourly average and what's happening right now. Keep in mind, when it comes to the hourly average for the air quality sensors, that is back up. That's the base map that you see here. That's what the DEQ, that's what they're when they give you recommendations, that's what that is considering, not what it is right now, because this, as we live in Bend, we know that this can fluctuate pretty quickly. But winds are a little breezy at times, and right now, just over Lapine is where we have orange, red, and even a little bit of yellow. So ranging between moderate and unhealthy for those real-time sensors. These are a little harder to see. The purple air sensors are real-time, and they're a little more sensitive as well. But as we go forward through the next couple of days, periods of reduced air quality are still expected. The good news is that wind helped to clear the air a little bit more. Now, when it comes to cameras across Central Oregon, we also have the ODOT cams, and they are showing dry roads and a whole lot of sunshine, even through the passes. Not much to talk about other than gorgeous conditions. Now, today was slightly cooler, but we haven't had any precipitation in sight. In fact, not even much cloud cover. After last night's weak wave of moisture pushed through the area, that was the one that brought some clouds, but no precipitation, and ushered in that cooler air mass that we've been dealing with today. As we go forward through Saturday, we're going to be under a whole lot of sunshine, but some PM clouds are expected. Notice at 5 p.m., temperatures still topping out in the mid to upper 50s, some 60s possible, just not for everybody. And we're starting off below freezing. And so when we look at our infrared satellite imagery, this one is, there's an enhancement on it that really pulls out those tall clouds. And it's important when you get to thunderstorms. And when we look all the way on the other side of the Mississippi River Valley, where they actually have a risk of severe thunderstorms, that's where you can see those really tall clouds. Also throughout East Texas, parts of Oklahoma and Arkansas, where there is some severe thunderstorms. That's why I use this enhancement, is to just really pull out when there's tall cloud cover, because that means there's vertical development. But here throughout the Pacific Northwest, there's not much actually happening. We have a low pressure that's over Canada and Montana. That is what expanded out a little bit last night and brought us the shot of cooler air. And since then, it hasn't been doing much for Central Oregon. In fact, when we dive in and take a closer look, we don't even see much in the way of cloud cover over the high desert. So outside of those areas of haze and smoke, it is clear. And when we look further out over the Pacific Ocean, there is a ridge of high pressure just offshore. Past that, there's more activity, but that activity isn't going to come our way. In fact, our primary concern through the next couple of days is this low pressure that's over Canada and Montana. That is going to do a couple things. First off, it's going to keep us cool. Second off, it's going to merge with another system that's developing over the Four Corners region. That's going to be a stationary front that's just going to meander over that region. But once those two work together by Sunday and Monday, we are looking at the potential for some showers. Not much, you'll see when we get there. But when it comes to water vapor imagery, there is a pool of dry air right over the Pacific Northwest. So it is cool, it is dry, and we have that sunshine here through the rest of this evening. Sunshine, yeah, it's going to be sunshine until it's a clear night. Not much is changing. Very little cloud cover expected until Saturday afternoon. That's where we catch some light clouds. Not much in the way of precipitation either until we get to Sunday afternoon. More clouds, breezy at times, and a chance of some light showers pushing through. We double down on that chance for rain one more time on Monday, but for the most part, not even everybody is going to get wet. So it is dry across the high desert, not critically dry. Typically, when we see relative humidity values in the 20s and teens, we're not hyper-focused on fire weather conditions because that comes when it's below 15%. But these relative humidity values, they're dry. And when it comes to temperatures today, in the last 24 hours, we topped out in the 50s with 65 in Warm Springs. I don't know if y'all remember, but this time yesterday, I was looking at a high of 58 degrees today, and we pretty much hit that. So below average for this time of the year, we got our dip in temperatures, and even right now, it's still feeling pretty cool. And it's the one of those fun things about spring. You step out into the direct sunshine where there's only a light breeze, and it feels great. You take 2 steps back into the shadows or into shade, if you will, and that's where it really starts to feel cool. And so that's pretty much the feel across the high desert. We're running between 2 and 10 degrees cooler than we were just 24 hours ago, and we're not done with the changes yet. So our temperature trend actually shows it getting even colder tonight. We're looking at 20s with a few 30s on the map. By tomorrow, we're still only topping out in the mid to some upper 50s, maybe a few 60s out there. And different look at from a different perspective, this forecast model is going to help us out because it focuses on temperature, specifically surface temperature. Over land. And I also put a couple of the L's, the squiggly lines. Yeah, so all of the surface analysis that we know and love when it comes to weather is on here as well. And the streamlines help with winds. And so Saturday, it's still looking at tons of sunshine, just some PM clouds. It is going to be cooler, highs in the 50s with some 60s. And you'll notice through all 3 days on this map, 50s and 60s, that's going to be the theme. What changes is the location of our low pressure and that stationary front that's meandering its way slowly but surely right into the Pacific Northwest. So by Sunday, some showers are possible, more clouds. By Monday, some showers are expected, more clouds, and winds are going to be breezy at times through Sunday and Monday, but the temperature does not shift that much. We do not see much in the way of precipitation. We're going to come back and look at precipitation a little closer here in the next couple of minutes, but the real focus for this weekend is slightly below average for this time of the year. Winds getting breezy at times, and temperatures bump up a little bit. they are still significantly cooler from where we were sitting just 24 hours ago. And then by Sunday and Monday, some showers are going to be possible. So it's really not until Tuesday and Wednesday that our warming trend takes shape. And it's going to be a good one. If you've been waiting on another stretch of 70s, that is on the way, just not until we get to late in the 7-day planner. So this is a forecast model that's a little bit further extended than the one we were just looking at. That was a high-resolution forecast model. This one goes out a little further. It's just not as high of resolution. So tonight and tomorrow, more sunshine than clouds, some PM clouds. By Sunday and Monday, we catch that chance of some showers, and it's going to be very hit and miss. Not everybody gets wet. By Tuesday, in and out clouds are expected, and we are not looking at much more in the way of precipitation until this time next week. So we're going to look at the GFS. This one stretches it out quite a bit further, and it's just not as high of resolution. So multiple forecast models show the same thing. Through Saturday, some PM clouds. Sunday and Monday, we do get some showers across the high desert. Winds become breezy at times. By Tuesday, a mixture of sunshine and cloud cover, then sunshine. Wednesday, we really start to crank up that temperature. A light breeze is expected. By Thursday and Friday, more sunshine, but late in the 7-day planner, that's when we start to see another shift in our weather pattern, and this is actually a new forecast model. The one that I was looking at, this same forecast model that I was looking at just a couple of hours ago, was showing that by the time we got to, here's Thursday right here, it was showing by the time we got to Friday, there was a chance of some showers. That chance is no longer in the cards. It has cleared that up all the way. And so, yeah, we are going from Thursday, we're looking at in and out clouds. By Friday, we're also just looking at more sunshine than cloud cover. So I'm actually going to have to edit the 7-day planner. It's going to be a little different than the one I'm about to show you. Because this latest forecast model took that chance of rain on Friday out, we're looking at more sunshine than cloud cover by then. So when it comes to rain chances between now and Sunday at 11 p.m., some light showers. And going past that, a little bit more shower activity. So really, it's just going to be Sunday and Monday. Not even everybody getting wet. In fact, let's go ahead and just take this more high-resolution forecast model and stretch it out a little bit more. We're going to go between now and Monday at 11 p.m. And yeah, it's just showing that some pockets of the high desert don't even get wet from the showers that are expected between now and through the beginning of the work week. Mostly just Sunday and Monday. Now, it is going to be breezy at times. Right now, not too bad. Gusts not even up to 20 miles per hour. Gusts peak at 16 miles per hour at the moment. So that means actual wind speeds are quite a bit lower than that. We're looking at 5 to 15 miles per hour. So really not too different than the actual wind speed. But here through the next couple of hours, it does get breezy at times. By tonight, tapering winds. Add in that smoke when winds completely just like taper off to a gentle breeze. We're talking 4 through 10 a.m. That's when we're actually looking at some of that smoke spreading out to reach other parts of the high desert. So even if you're not in that area that has impacted air quality right now, that doesn't mean you're not going to see it later on tonight. By tomorrow, 5 to 15 mile per hour winds, mostly out of the north. By Sunday, a little breezy at times. So we're catching that the trend that's going on. We keep this dip in temperatures. By Sunday and Monday, some showers, breezy at times, then the warm-up starts. So for tonight, expect 20s with a few 30s on the map. By tomorrow, we're talking 50s with a few 60s, and here is that 7-day planner. I was just telling you that on this 7-day planner, we actually have a chance of rain on Friday. That is no longer the case. I still have to change this. We actually analyzed that together. But Sunday and Monday is a big shift in our weather pattern. That's when we catch the showers. And outside of that, we start our warming trend Tuesday. We go through the 60s and into the lower 70s. That warm-up that we're looking at through the rest of the 7-day planner is going to put us well above average for this time of the year. Now, your weather headlines for this Friday, April the 24th, include sunshine, 50s, and some 60s right through this weekend. Light showers are expected Sunday and Monday, and then that warm-up starts next week. So at the moment, there is no precipitation in sight, barely any cloud cover. And looking at the entire state, there's just not much happening. But we have been focusing on air quality conditions. And as we wrap up this deep dive into your most reliable forecast, there are some pockets where we have reduced air quality. Those winds that have been getting breezy at times have actually helped to clear the air. Even when we look at the real-time sensors, they're mostly orange. I think there are 2 of them that are red. So the poor air quality is wrapping up. We don't really see much of an impact to air quality from the prescribed fire just about 3 miles northwest of Sisters, about 100 acres. The one that we are seeing from is the one just south of Lake Billy Chinook from yesterday. It does look like it is impacting air quality a little bit just south of Black Butte. But again, for the most part, when it comes to that DEQ air quality in the East Bay sensors, good to moderate air quality. Not too bad at all. That is the latest in weather. Join us tonight on Central Oregon Daily News. We'll have the latest headlines and your most reliable forecast. See you then.